This module is part of the training series for the POWER program, Positive Outcomes with Emotion Regulation. This module will describe our last main group session for the POWER program. Session 7 is called Planning for Success. Please take a few moments to review this disclaimer about this training module. There are two objectives for this group meeting. First, students will be able to independently describe and demonstrate the steps to emotion identification, relaxation, activity scheduling, observing thoughts, and the catch, check, choose strategies. Then, students will develop a plan to support them in using these strategies. For group meeting 7, students will need their student books, a writing utensil, and this week's challenge form. In order to run this group meeting, you will need the agenda, the group expectations poster, and your week 6 completed challenge form. You will also need some materials for the review game this week, including the steps for the review game, the strategy slips cut into strips, which will be placed in a container, a timer, and drawing materials. This group meeting starts off, like the others, with a review of the group expectations and agenda, a guided practice of a relaxation strategy of the students' choosing, and a review of last week's challenge. Then you will play a review game with students. After this, you will lead another guided practice of relaxation strategy of the students' choosing. Students will action plan before you give the challenge and wrap up. This group meeting begins with a review of the group expectations and the agenda for the day. During the last several group meetings, you have practiced 3 different relaxation strategies: guided imagery, deep breathing, and muscle relaxation. This group meeting, you will lead the students in a guided practice. You can either select a strategy yourself or offer the option to students to select one. The scripts for all 3 strategies are included in the manual. Last week, students were asked to practice using a catch, check, choose strategy in the real world and either write or draw about it. Before reviewing the challenge, lead the students in a brief review of the steps to the catch, check, choose. Then share your completed challenge form, including the thought you had and what adaptive, brave, or calm thought you could have thought instead. Once you reviewed your example, ask students to share their challenge forms. If a student does not have the form, ask them to share their responses verbally. The purpose of this next section is to review all the strategies taught in the POWER program through a game format. Put the group members into teams. Each student, alternating teams, will pick a slip of paper from a container. The paper will contain a clue. Each student will read the clue to themselves and then decide whether they want to act it out, like charades, draw it, like Pictionary, or describe it, like Taboo. The student will have 30 seconds to act it out, draw it, or describe it. Then all the team members will try to guess the clue. Students will have access to a list of strategies in their student book to help them guess. If the team guesses correctly, they will earn a point. If not, the other team will have a chance to guess and earn a point. Each team will play 5 rounds of clues. You will model one clue for the students before playing the game. You will select a clue and then determine whether you will act it out, draw it, or describe it. Then you will start the timer and act it out, draw it, or describe it. Everyone can guess for this model and no points are rewarded. Once you have practiced, you will ask if there are any questions and then start the game. Be sure to remove the strategy slips from the container after they have been used. After the game, the group will do another guided practice of a relaxation strategy. Be sure to choose or have the group choose a different one from the one selected earlier. This time, ask for a student volunteer to run the guided practice. They can do it from memory or by using the script on pages 25 and 27 in their student book. In the next section of the group meeting, students will develop an action plan for themselves to use the strategies from the POWER program after the group has ended. In the student book, there is a planning form for students to complete. It prompts them to consider their emotional goal, what internal and external clues to look for in identifying their emotions, what relaxation strategy they want to use or when, what behavioral activation strategies to try, how to observe their thoughts, and how and when to use the catch, check, choose strategy. Students will complete this form independently, and you will monitor the group and answer questions and discuss plans. The challenge for this week is for students to identify someone at home, school, or in the community that they can trust and then share the plan they just created with that person. It can be anyone that they trust, including a friend, family member, school staff, neighbor, or other adult. Ask students to share with the group who they will share their plan with. This is the last meeting of the POWER program. There's an optional booster meeting for the group and one for individual students if you elect to hold either of those. Following the group meeting, please make a copy of the student's book for your records and to use in booster sessions, if you decide to hold these. Once you have a copy of each of the books, you will return the original to the respective student to take home. They will need the student book to complete the challenge and use as a resource, so don't forget to give it back to the student after making copies. Be sure to wrap up the group and let the students know if you are planning a booster meeting or not. Otherwise, let them know how and when you will get them their student books and say goodbye. This is the final group meeting of the POWER program. If you plan to hold a booster meeting, either for the group or for individual students, or both, please watch the training modules designed for these. If not, we hope you have found these training modules helpful. Thank you for watching our training series. This resource was developed by the Devereaux Center for Effective Schools and has been made available to you through the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration and the Northeast and Caribbean Mental Health Technology Transfer Center.